Welcome to this week's Swarf and Chips. We've got a great show lined up for you. All the details are here. However, we've got some lovely guests from PGM Reball and we're going to be discussing ball screws. We're also going into a lot of depth on the new EMAG machine. However, I'm joined by three of the guys on the sofas today and we're going to be discussing the best of the week topics or videos. First one is the Guhring. They had their new manufacturing facility open in the UK. Can you talk us through it?
This is one of yours, Joe. You managed to get in the top four, which was
good start. So there's only three this week.
Yeah. Good start. Yeah, no, fabulous new facility. If you look at this video, obviously the time lapse, they've gone from roughly 30,000 square feet to 55,000 square feet, plus they've got land for another 30,000 square feet. So it's a huge facility. It's probably 50 to 60% full at the moment, so there's room to expand within that facility prior to building on again. But in terms of the video, you've got Mike here, he's been at Guhring for many, many years, and he's taken it from a little distributor in the south of England and all the way to this today, where you've got, you know, this big facility in the second capital.
How did he manage to get, this was the opening event, how did he manage to get so many people there? I mean, when you watch this through, I couldn't believe for the attendance.
Yeah, no, it was a busy event, obviously.
I mean, is there a lot to see beyond? Do you get to look around where the cutting tools are manufactured?
Absolutely, yeah.
Is there a dedicated showroom where you can trial and test? And
yeah, they've got a partner area, so within that partner area, you've got the engineering technology group, you've got Bloom Nova Test, you've got Houghton Lubricants and companies like that, all bringing it all together. You've got Lloyd's Bank were part of it. It's quite an interesting interview, actually. You've actually got a banker there talking about productivity and reinvesting in machines. You know, imagine that, a bank talking about productivity, how things change, I guess.
Very close then. You know, they've got a good relationship.
Well, they've been, I think, 25 years
What's that
plus.
in the background, Joe? Sorry.
What was that? The robots as robotics?
Robots, that's part of the Robo Challenge guys who we know fairly well on the show, don't we? But they've obviously done a lot of robots and they're just round the corner. They've got a partnership with Guhring.
And did they not have a place? I'm assuming they didn't have a place like this before then, did they?
It was quite, I can say it now, but it's quite old and antiquated, to be honest with you. It was very bitty, whereas this is state-of-the-art, very futuristic. And they'll be there for many years to come. But it's a great facility, and anyone in the area, go and see them. I'm sure they'll let you have a look around.
It's a good success story.
It is, and you know they've currently got 80 staff, and they're going up to 125 staff, providing they can find them. They're looking for apprentices currently, looking for skilled labour currently. So.
And is it all new cutting tools? Is it all new?
Yeah, I think there's a bit of remanufacturing there, a bit of regrinding, but you know they do a lot of work for companies like Jaguar Land Rover, BMW. So you know they're right in the heart of the UK. It's a great place to be. They've got a lot of machines. Right, Lindsay?
Yeah.
Sorry.
When you say we're on, okay, whereabouts is it actually based?
Birmingham.
In Aston, in Birmingham,
okay.
Yeah, brand new facility in the hub. And this is obviously James from the MTA talking about Guhring, and he's basically saying he wishes all the other members were like Guhring and embracing manufacturing and new automation techniques.
But I noticed you talk about the machine tools there that have been supplied. What's the breadth of the technology that's actually available for people to see when they go up there beyond the cutting tool?
Well, they design, they manufacture. Obviously, they can apply them now with the help of engineering technology group. There's a Nakamura Y-axis lathe in there, as well as a vertical machining centre.
Okay, so you've got your milling and turning.
So it's essentially all you could ever want from a cutting tool manufacturing hub, really.
So another company that's made it into the top is the FPT machines, sole distributor through Matsuura.
That's right.
But they had a big event with huge machines, Colin. What did you see?
Machines were fantastic. They're absolutely massive. But I'd like to say this is part of the MTD sort of adding value for customers. And we go overseas, we go to Europe, we go to open houses and things like that. And Paul's been pushing this really hard. What he didn't say was he doesn't like flying. So I went on Paul's behalf.
No, I don't like flying with you.
That's what it is. I had a great time with Roger and Simon. They showed me around the FPT Open House, which you can see here. And some of the machines they've got just trying to remember some of them. The Kenta, the boring machine. It wasn't boring, it was very interesting. 6 metre tall. And they've got a patent on the head where it can actually come down to ground level so they can change the tooling and things like that, which is really phenomenal.
Are they all really, really big machines though?
No, I think we mentioned one of those.
I think the story here is about the technology. It's about the size of machines, and it's about, for Matsuura, this fits perfectly into their portfolio. It's very hard to grasp the capabilities and the equipment that they offer without going there or seeing it on the video, which we've shown here. But you're talking about horizontal floor borers with up to 9 metre Y-axis, in 40 metres in the X-axis. that Colin also looked at, and I thought it was a really good tour with Roger. Actually, I thought it was really informative. You looked at all the different machines, and whether you're talking about vertical machining centres, portal machines, mill turn, they were all there, and they were also machining their machines or their castings on their own machine tools as well. And I think as a manufacturer, I wouldn't have known a lot about these until Matsuura took up the agency. And now they've got it, you can kind of see why they wanted it, because there's lots of opportunity here for them.
It's not just the machine tools as well, sorry Joe, because they've got the extra cal, which is a calibration, laser calibration system, which is, I understand, unique to FPT, which is really impressive. So essentially recalibrates a machine for when you're doing manufacturing those components.
That last machine was not this one, the one previous machine was interesting to me. They classed it as a 5-axis vertical borer. So where's the crossover between that and a 5-axis vertical machining centre?
Well, I suppose a vertical machining centre, a borer is a borer, so you've got the turning function, so you can bore and you can turn. And that is the ultimate in flexibility. I mean, it's like this mill turning centre here. I think from there you've got a universal head on that as well, so you can do vertical machining as well as horizontal machining as well as turning. What more functionality do you need on a machine tool to create a complex part in a very, very quick turnaround time? And I thought what was also quite good about this is what Matsuura did at the end of it, or what FPT did at the end of it. They took all the people that went to the show out on a boat in Venice, didn't they? Which
they did.
You didn't go on because you don't like going on boats.
No, I did go on the tour, and I bought some very fine glassware from the Milano showroom, and they did the show. But that's not. Yeah. We don't need to know about that.
Yeah.
So when you were poorly, was that down to the boat trip?
That's right. Well, probably too much booze. But.
Anyway, last of the best of the week is the new Leadwell machine. I know, Paul, you're going to give us the lowdown.
Yeah, we looked at this at a show. This was actually introduced in EMAG 2015. We went to see it, and it's the concept that everybody seems to be looking at these days. It's got the tip-in head and the integrated C-axis. Gives you more flexibility, you can tackle different sides of the part, and it also means you can use the machine as a much bigger 3-axis machining centre if you choose. Now Leadwell have introduced this to, I suppose, give you a high-speed machining option with a dynamic control as well.
We say high speed in terms of your spindle speed, rapids.
Yeah, it's got 12,000 RPM, but I think you can go for a higher speed spindle as well. But it's all about the rapids on this machine. I think they're 40 metres a minute. You know, so if you're looking at the...
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to say, the thing that I found astonishing was the machining envelope. Just off the top of your head, do you know what the Z is? The travelling the Z?
700?
Up to 800.
Is it? So you'd probably need to get a riser block in to do that. Was that
no, to be fair, I think it had to be in a horizontal fashion. But even still, 800 is a large component for a machine of that size, isn't it?
And I think the thing is, with machines of this nature, there's quite a few manufacturers, I've said, that are introducing machines of this style. And I think it's because they're catching on to the fact that it does give you more flexibility. You can do negative angles, as you're seeing there with this machining. And as Joe said, if you're looking for a bigger working envelope with your Zs and your X and your Ys, you've got that as a 3-axis option on this machine too.
That's the main thing for me. There's many different configurations for 5-axis machines, but one day this could be a 3-axis VMC, next day it could be a horizontal, the following day, you know, it could be a full simultaneous 5-axis machine. Plus you can use the full machining envelope, can't you?
Choice of controls, options as well, like your through spindle coolant, linear scales, all of those things that you would expect from a machine, but these are sold by Lead Machine Tools in the UK. But it's important to add as well that Leadwell do offer a trunnion style 5-axis machine, so they've got kind of both options, excuse me, in that area.
Okay, well, you're going to head over to Technical Corner, but also we have got our guests who will be coming onto the sofas just after.
Ross, on a Friday morning, Swarf and Chips.
I watch it, yeah.
What do you like about it?
I like to keep up to date with the new technology, really. So if I see something that interests me, especially on the fast cutting and swarf removal, anything like that, I like to watch that.
So in Technical Corner today, myself and Joe are going to be talking about the EMAG vertical turning solution. Joe, you went to Germany to look at this machine. Very informative video on this particular product. Firstly, tell us what the machine is and maybe some of the features we'll cover.
Yeah, we can see here, it's a VL3 Duo. It's one of the newer machines from EMAG, and it's basically a twin spindle, twin turret machine with a difference. It's a vertical machine, but the component is held upside down. As we can see here, the swarf is actually falling away from the component, which is probably the best machining conditions possible. It comes in a very compact footprint. It's a heavy, robust machine. It's got its own neat little automation system with a part stacker as an option. But it all, to me, it comes down to two things: the way the component is held in an upside down fashion, and also the build quality and the integrity of the machine. And
the fact that this is a dual machine means essentially you've got two machines. So you could be machining op1 on one side and then op2 on the other, couldn't you? Which doubles your output potentially. What I liked about this video, and what I liked about the guy that you interviewed, was how in depth he went into about the build of the machine, which you've touched on. The first thing I'd like to point out is the polymer concrete base. Now, the base of a machine is an integral part to the machine tool, and a lot of machine tool builders pay a lot of attention to the weight, the distribution of the weight, exactly where the weight is. But the polymer concrete here, what he's saying is this machine for a small footprint was it about 10 tonnes?
It was 10 tonne, yeah.
Which is incredible. And looking at facts, one of the things about polymer concrete is that it absorbs vibration up to 8 to 10 times quicker than cast iron. So we're seeing a lot of machine tools these days that are being built out of the polymer concrete base for that reason. Now, why do you think that's important?
Well, reducing harmonics, better surface finish, better tool life, better component essentially.
Yeah,
it's win-win.
And when you're reducing that vibration, the vibrations these days are becoming even greater with the faster the machines move. Because you imagine if you've got accelerations and you're running on linear drive motors on machines like this, the machine's moving around much faster, so therefore you need to dampen that vibration quicker.
Exactly, it's a linear drive with roller bearings, so it's going to be moving fast.
And then they also started to pay a lot of attention about the spindles on these machines, didn't they? What did you take from that?
Yeah, it's a direct drive spindle, so you've got the benefits of that, of accuracy, better roundness, and lifetime of the spindle itself. It's actually water cooled as well, which I think probably comes up in the video. So all the obvious advantages really.
Yeah, I picked up 32 kilowatt spindle motors, direct drive. Again, we hear a lot about wrap-round motors, direct drives. You get more power, they're very quick, they're quicker to accelerate, and with the water-cooled element as well. Again, what was interesting about this video is they talk about the growth of a machine tool, the hotter it gets. When you've got water-cooled spindles, they're paying attention throughout the whole of the machine in order to keep the machine, or to avoid thermal growth to give you accurate parts.
It's one of the most important parts about EMAG machines in general. They don't tend to run 3-4 hours a day, they do tend to run lights out 24/7, so to remain thermally stable, it's critical for these machines. Obviously, even here in the UK, it might be 8 degrees in the morning, it might be 30 degrees by lunchtime with a bit of luck. So you have to remain thermally stable, and they actually do.
And the inverted spindle, as you've said already, probably the biggest feature and the biggest benefit to the inverted spindle is for the swarf.
Yeah, the evacuation, yeah.
What else did you take from the trip? Automation here?
Yeah, that is what they call the part stacker. What I like about it, and I love automation, but quite often automation can almost dominate a cell, can't it? It might be a robot, it might be a large system against the wall. But this, you hardly notice the automation in truth. It comes in one side and it goes out the other side complete. It's quite a narrow tray. Like I say, on here there was an extra of an added parts stacker, which again is of benefit if you're doing lots of lights out machining.
Coming back to one point, the linear drive motor technique, is this linear drive throughout?
It is, yeah.
Okay, so the linear drive motors on this machine do one of a few things, don't they? They make the machine move from point to point far quicker, but there's also less wear and tear than on a ball screw.
Correct.
So you're talking less maintenance and longevity, which is important for people.
Sure, with roller bearings.
With roller bearings, yeah. Now, give us 3 points then in summary about the EMAG machines and where we're buying them from, or where you would buy them from in the UK.
Yeah, well, obviously EMAG UK is a company its own, Wolverhampton in the UK. So you buy in with EMAG, and you've got this behind you, this German facility. You can take components over here and so on, like you would do in the UK. But probably the 3 things, it's difficult to answer that because there's so many, but maybe it's so efficient for a tiny footprint. I've got it written down here, 25 square metres, and that's including the part stacker. Take that off, it's significantly more. The build quality of the machine with the polymer concrete bed you've already mentioned. And probably in the machining conditions, you used the word inverted, I said upside down, but the component essentially, as we would know, it is upside down. And that gives best-in-class swarf evacuation. So that's great for cutting tools, great for process reliability.
Very important, application-driven, as all these things are. But it's been a good discussion. Back to the sofas, where I believe Colin and Lindsay are joined by PGM Reball, who might have a few things to say about the differences between linear motor drives and ball screws.
Josh, what do you watch on a Friday?
It's got to be Swarf and Chips.
And what do you like about it?
Just finding out what's going on within the market, what's going on within the industry, keeping up with the competition.
So I'd like to welcome to the show the Technical R&D Director, Mehdi Sabit, and the Managing Director, Anne Ford from PGM Reball. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hi, thank you.
It's lovely to have your company. We've had a nice morning already, haven't we?
We have been fantastic.
We've been chatting, and it's lovely to find out more about your company. Can you give us a little bit of a general overview of anyone who doesn't know anything about PGM Reball?
We're based in Hinckley, Leicestershire, and most people know us for ball screw repairs, but we also sell new ball screws, and we also manufacture our own ball screws for special projects.
Don't you have something like 6 million?
No, 60 million.
60 million ball screws in stock.
We have
Ball bearings.
60 million ball bearings at all different sizes, and that enables us to turn the ball screw repair around very fast because we don't have to wait for stock to arrive. So we keep a wide range of stock of lots of different sizes of ball bearings in both imperial and metric, and also different materials such as carbon, chrome, steel and ceramic.
And with all these different materials, is that due to thermal issues and everything for different companies' requirements?
Yeah, it's generally to do with the application that the ball screw is going to be used for. So we can repair any make, any size of ball screw for any application, and that's why we keep such a range of ball bearings in stock.
And better grade ball bearings, I understand as well, which seems, very small issue. Well, not a small issue, a small thing, but is that right?
Yeah, so a ball bearing is spherical and it races through the circulation system of the ball nut, and it's really important that that sphere is as round as possible. So the better the grade ball bearing, the more roundness it has in terms of its level of perfection. So when you buy a ball screw from a typical machine tool manufacturer, they will generally have grade 20 ball screws, but we always replace them with either grade 5 or grade 10, so the ball bearing is more perfect, and that enables it to travel through the ball nut a lot more smoothly.
So now we're going to come on to in just a moment how you as a company can affect every single one of our viewers watching Swarf and Chips today. However, I want to go a little bit technical because I think what I've learnt from you is your technical background gives you a massive unique selling place in the market, or unique selling point, and I think that's down to your background, isn't it, Mehdi?
Well,
Yes.
opportune, because there's one of Mehdi's inventions in the background as we're talking.
Yes.
Go on, tell us your history a little bit and what makes you so different.
My background is engineering. I've done my degrees and my master's degrees in engineering and my postdoctorate in grinding technology. And I've always got involved in machine tools to start with, and then went into the specialization of specific project within machine tools. And then towards the end, I'll work for a company called THK Linear Systems, and that's the element of a machine tool. And they were making ball screws, and they actually employed me because of my expertise in grinding miniature components, because of my dental background in working in dental industries. And we designed miniature ball screws for THK to start.
So anything ball screws or actuator related,
Yes.
You were the man.
I wouldn't say the world's leading expert, because I got told off about saying that, but a leading expert in the world.
Yes, there are many people who actually know a lot about ball screws and terminology. But fundamentally, ball screws is a linear bearing, is a bearing. It's just spiral bearing. So when you open it up, it's like a spring.
You make it sound simple.
And the secret of a good quality ball screw is have stability during the motion of the ball bearing. So you have a very frictionless rotation, but you don't have the balls slipping and sliding.
And that's the accuracy that I think we've picked up on from your company. And isn't this, I mean, you've patented quite a few
Yes.
Ball screws. Show us this example.
But this is our own design, where we've integrated the ball screw technology into a spline technology. So it actually becomes a single axis. It takes the radial load and also the axial load. And the way we do it, we actually integrate the whole ball screw to the linear rail, to the spline itself, and you can see the point where the junction is connected.
So that enables a longer stroke, is
yes.
that right?
So it allows you to have a much longer stroke, allows you to rotate, and that becomes a single axis, and it will become very compact and saves space, saves weight, and is fully fully integrated in terms of the whole. You can put electronics inside to monitor its movement.
So fast, efficient, and smooth.
Yes.
And a lot smaller. So.
And a lot lighter.
When we've got viewers though, our viewers are talking about bigger ball screws, and that's kind of what I think we'd like to talk about today, is kind of your repair service that you have to offer. Because for me, one of the first questions that I asked earlier this morning was, I'm a manufacturer, an engineering company, I'm out of my warranty of my ball screw, and you know, why would I go to you to repair my ball screw? And can you go through the process as to what you would take in terms of repair, because it's quite different from what some other companies may do?
Yeah, so why people would come to us is firstly for our technical expertise, because we make ball screws and we've got a real good technical base. We understand the geometries and the way that the ball bearings actually travel through the ball nut. Our workshop is AS9100 because we supply aerospace and military companies for our manufacturing products. So we have a good, strong technical base. Secondly, we're very upfront with prices. So we have a standard price list. So people can call us on the telephone and give us the dimensions of the ball screw, and we'll be able to give them a relatively accurate guide price over the telephone. So
over the telephone?
Yeah, so that in the past, people have had to send a ball screw to a repairer. It then gets dismantled and then gets quoted. So whatever the quote price is, then the customer is more or less fixed into having the ball screw repaired by that person. But by giving a guide price, a relatively firm guide price over the telephone, then the customer knows exactly what to expect in terms of price. So our technical expertise, our standard price list. We also offer a really good service in terms of being able to collect ball screws, pick them up, and then deliver them back to customers. So really anything to be transparent and to take the pain away for the customer at the end.
So you'll send a courier out?
Yeah.
But you also make it very, very simple, because it's, you know, we've got the ball screws on the table here, but as engineers know, ball screws could be 1.5 metres. You can do up to 12 metres.
Yes, so we can fit a 12-metre ball screw into the workshop. That's the maximum that we do. But the smaller ball screws, we can send a courier to go and collect on an overnight service. All the customer needs to do is box it up. And I'll generally email labels to them to put on the parcel, and we can get it next day. If it's anything over about 2.5 metres, then we generally send a dedicated courier to collect, and that's generally a same-day service. So the speed is really of the essence. So the faster we can actually get that ball screw to us, the faster we can then set about repairing it and getting it back to the customer.
Well, as you know, Lindsay, keeping those spindles turning.
Exactly, that's what it's all about, keeping the spindles turning.
And not only that, in some cases, because of the emergency, we do evening shift. We don't cost extra for it. We just because we focus to get the customer's machine up and running. So some people just wait in the evening.
Yeah, you had a guy drive down from Aberdeen or something, didn't you? And just...
Yeah, generally it's a regular trip actually for him. So he'll drive down from Scotland and get to us about 7 o'clock at night, wait in the car while we spend 3 to 4 hours on the ball screw, and then he'll drive back overnight. And that's probably the most extreme example.
Yes.
But engineers will generally come and wait if it's a real emergency.
Wow.
So they've got the standard price, ease of getting the repair done. You get a full audit trail on the repair?
Yeah, so we have a really good, firm, well-established process. So as soon as a ball screw comes in, it gets tagged with a unique serial number, and then we raise a job card. So then everything that happens to that ball screw is recorded, both in terms of the state that it arrives in, and what we found when we inspected it, and what we did to it, and how we sent it back. And we take digital images of each stage of the process as well, so we've got a full record of what we did to the ball screw. And then we, if a customer wants some more information, then we also write an inspection report so that the customer has a copy of all that as well. And there's no extra charge for that. And then finally, we warranty the repair for 3 months. So if there are any issues,
just
they
cut
can
in there,
bring
and
it
sorry,
back.
just on the screen at the moment. Now this is another Metis inventions, part of the process. It's gone now, but you actually fully you clean the ball screw anyway, but this is a washing machine for the ball screw.
Yeah, so it's an automatic washer. So generally we'd have to soak the ball screw for quite a long time, and obviously if we're looking to reduce the process time, having an automatic washing machine really speeds that up.
And also it makes it more a better quality repair, because a lot of people just wipe the ball screw clean and they throw the balls in, but actually the ball's still running on dirt around the track.
You've got
whereas
dirt.
we really clean the surface right into the surface.
And you'll reball sort of 4 or 5 times to make sure those balls really fit accurately.
Yeah, so the gradient in size is how much? What's the variation in size?
Put Medi under pressure.
About 1 micron.
About 1 micron in terms
Half a
of
tenth.
the gradients that we go up to. So we have a good stab at the size of ball bearing to use to start with. We'll reball it, then we'll do all the testing, the torque tests and the load tests to see how it runs. And then if we need to, we'll dismantle it all again and we'll reball with a different size ball screw, ball bearing. But sometimes we can reball 4 or 5 times before we actually get the optimum size ball bearing to use.
But that is towards the end. Just before that, we final lap as an assembly to take away the peak and valley effect around the shaft.
Because with that lapping as well,
make it really nice and
you've
smooth.
got you get lapping paste, but you made your own paste as such.
Yes, it's a combination of different grades of lapping paste, and we lap with
Your own secret.
oil.
It's like Colonel's special recipe. It's many special
It
recipes.
is. But essentially we do that because across the length of a ball screw, a machine tool might only be using a part of that length. And so that gets worn a little bit more.
Yeah.
So when you're trying to identify the correct size of ball bearing to
There's a
use,
lapping at the moment, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
you might actually need a different size here to the part that hasn't been worn. So we try to even out those peaks and valleys across the length of the shaft.
Good example is one of our customers, GKN in Bristol. They have, when we repair the ball screws for them, that ball screw go to any particular machine. And so because they make the wings of the aircraft, for example, they want to make sure the surface finish is perfect in every machine. So when they repair a ball screw, that ball screw go to machine 1 to machine 5 or machine 10 because we've got so many of them. So the ability for the ball screw to run very smoothly and parallel is paramount to them. So we lap the ball screw for them.
So you do the service and repairs and things like that, but also your new ball screws. I think you quoted an example earlier, Cincinnati as an example. What happens there?
Yeah, so if a ball screw can't be repaired, then we can replace. And it's generally takes a long time to get a ground ball screw made by a manufacturer for the bigger ball screws.
What sort of timescales?
Well, if it's a relatively standard ball screw, it's about 6 to 8 weeks at the moment. But if it's a special ball screw, it can take up to sort of 20 weeks. So it's sometimes it can take a long time. So what we've done is we've bought in a stock of blank ground ball screws, so we can turn that replacement round much quicker, generally within about a 5-day turnaround.
All right. So instead of 6 to 8 weeks, 20 weeks, 5 days. Keeping those spindles turning.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the alternative, if a customer wants a replacement very quickly, then they could go to the OEM or the machine tool manufacturer and get it relatively quickly. But of course, they're paying a lot more money for it. I think we had an example just a few days ago where a customer was quoted £6,000 for a replacement ball screw on a 2-day delivery, whereas we got one in stock. We can turn that round within 5 days at a third of of that price. So it's to provide the service, but also to try to keep costs low for the customer, and also try to balance that with the speed of return.
And this is where I believe that you're affecting every single viewer, manufacturing company, engineering firm, where you can, you know, that they can contact you and get a repair or service on their own ball screws. Now, I know you've already had an inquiry, haven't you, from a previous video that you did with Colin?
Yeah, we've had several inquiries actually from the work that we've been doing with yourselves. So yeah, it's with us being a relatively small business, it's really important that we get the word out, and obviously this is a really good channel to do it.
And of course, we'll put all the contact details on the screen.
Oh, thank you.
What are your favourite drinks?
Oh, definitely coffee.
Tea and coffee. Well, we've got mugs for you, because everyone who comes on Swarf and Chips gets a complimentary mug. So thank you for coming into the studio and telling us a bit more about your company.
It's been a pleasure, thank you.
Oh, thank you very much for inviting us.
Right, thank you for watching the show. Do not forget to like, comment and subscribe. If you want to watch any previous episodes, click on the links here. And as we always say, keep those spindles turning.